Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday where we get acquainted with kind of new people who are new to Moira Press. And I met our guest today, Anisah, at a fair, like a metaphysical fair. It's called the Me Fair. And she was in the different building than we were in, but I passed her booth and it was just astrological art all over the place. And so we obviously have to meet her to see what she's up to. So, Anisah, how long have you been an astrologer or studying?
I've been interested like casually for quite a while. I would say 2021 is when I like decided I need to get really serious about it and like this is what I want to do. So, yeah, since then.
So, do you want to be an like astrological reader for a living, or what do you want to do with astrology?
It's interesting because like right, the more I do it, it's like, well, I really like doing the art and that's I think really where my passion is or trying to understand my own chart or just like what's going on in the world through astrology and doing readings. It seems like that's an easier way to get into it. But it is something that I've like, it's been more challenging for me. Like, I think it's fun and you can like learn a lot about people and talking to people, but it's like a pretty in-depth kind of like a therapy space too that I don't think I really realized getting into it. So right now I'm kind of doing both. Yeah, so I'm trying to lean into challenging myself with readings. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I find is it really depends on the inquiry. You know, if somebody just has a baby born and they're like, "Can you draw the chart of the baby for the wall?" That's one inquiry. But if they say, "Can you tell me what my transits are?" That's just a different request. And it sounds like you're a person who can do both of those requests.
Yeah. I have a lot of fun doing the art. I think it's just about getting more people like aware of what kinds of things you can even make a drawing of and like what the significance is. So,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah.
No, so it sounds like you study with Chris Brennan. That's your lineage, or
Well, it was his podcast that like first kind of made me think, okay, I want to like really pursue this. It was interesting. At first, it just like came up on YouTube randomly, and they were discussing kind of how the signs don't equal the houses, like it's not the ABC astrology or something. And it actually made me upset, and it really like triggered me. I'm like, of course, there's a correlation between like Aries is in like the first house and like how can you deny this? But then I thought, well, if something's gonna like get me this like riled up, maybe there's something to it. I'm obviously interested in astrology anyway. So then I started listening more and the in-depth like zodiacal releasing stuff really piqued my curiosity. So that was kind of the tipping point.
interesting. And then, so have you taken, it sounds like you took some classes there too, but have you taken other classes or yeah, like just trying to get to know like your background?
Right. Well, it's been like super heavy with initially just listening to different people's podcasts. I mean, originally just like Googling things online and finding different websites and like correlating different ways different websites would interpret things. And then you can kind of get like where they overlap to learn. And then, yeah, podcasts. Then eventually, like, I read his book, Hellenistic Astrology. And then, like, I'm technically in the class right now. I haven't like finished all the stuff, but yeah, that's the only like formal class that I've done.
Interesting. So you must be really good at Hellenistic. I actually have my Vedias Valens right now. I'm preparing the Hellenistic class right now. So I love that you're
Oh,
a
cool.
Hellenist. So that's something that we share. And I think as the as an artist, it's kind of interesting because I don't know a lot of Hellenistic people. I'm wearing my super arty necklace, by the way, today. This is given to me by somebody. She was just had beads on, and it just made me think about how, as an artist, like the giving and receiving of art is one of the joys of being an artist is like, giving and receiving. And like I just don't know a lot of Hellenistic astrologers who are super arty. I feel like the Hellenistic lineage is very cerebral and
Interesting.
kind of a stickler for rules and things like that, which is a great thing. But I think the art side of astrology is more like right brain and kind of flowing. So it seems like an interesting combination you've got going.
Yeah.
What makes you an artist in your natal chart?
Um, a few things probably. I do have like Venus on my ascendant, and I've got Neptune on my sun, so I feel like that kind of adds some more mystical stuff. But I am like really heavy Capricorn, a lot of Saturn stuff. So I think maybe that's how kind of the opposites end up getting fused together because my art does seem to be it's more like I'm bringing a lot of left brain stuff into the art. Like everything like kind of means something. It's more like precise. I have to use like a ruler and so it's more like left-brained art in a way. And I think like the Hellenistic stuff, like you mentioned, in a way it lends itself to kind of the geometric stuff that I do because it's so based on symmetry. So I like kind of bringing that out
Okay.
with the art.
I feel like you
Yeah.
being are your Sun Neptune conjunction in Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What that I feel like that generation is so into Hellenistic astrology because Hellenistic is so Capricorn. It's like old and archaic and
Yeah. Yeah.
and like respect bearing and all that stuff. That seems like the very Neptune and Capricorn generation.
Yeah, yeah. There I do have some sort of like affinity. It's weird to like, older stuff, traditional stuff, which is strange, being an Aquarius rising. It's like I would view myself as being more anti-tradition, but then I can recognize like there is that element too. So,
What's your moon sign?
Aries.
Aries. Okay.
That explained a lot because originally just thinking I was a Capricorn, I didn't really get it and I didn't relate to it at all, but then that helped explain.
Well, just looking at you, you do have castor brown hair, which is the Capricorn color, and with a little red in it, which I feel like is the Aries moon there. So just doing a little analyzing of you. That's cool.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Um, Jay-Z, do you have anything to say or any questions to ask Anisah?
Well, I mean, I had some other questions, but the question I'm dying to ask is like, so Andy, you, I guess, got to see some of Anissa's artwork, but I haven't. Like, what does your artwork look like? Or
Right.
what emotion are you trying, and what emotion are you trying to evoke, or what response, or like, what are you trying to do with your artwork?
Uh, I don't feel like dazzle people. I don't know. Like, well, some of it. This one's like pretty intense, and it's a good illustration of kind of the analytical bit. This is like a super mandala. I call it the third degree because it's like giving the zodiac the third degree, where it shows like every subdivision of the zodiac. You've got
Mhm.
like the decans, or no, that's the rulers, the decans, the Chaldean terms, the Egyptian bounds, the 12 parts, and then there's like a line going down for every degree. So you can kind of like find out. My idea with it was that you could like plot a birth chart around it, and then you would know like all the information for each placement more than just like what sign it's in. So yeah, that was like a fun one to do.
That
It was
makes me
more,
think of when I was in school, I went to Kepler College and my friend Kenneth Miller, he's an Indian astrologer, and we used to joke about the trideca wheel because like, people put all these wheels and wheels and wheels on and I was like, let me get the 30 layer wheel out here. And it's kind of what you just did
yeah,
there is like the 30-layer wheel, but that's really
yeah.
cool. It's very clear and I can see what you're talking about. If you put your planet out here, you could see all those micro layers. Like, um, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. That is very technical.
Yeah, that one ended up being super, super technical. This
Wait,
is
how
like
long did you that take you?
I don't know exactly. A while. It wasn't, like straight working on it. But that one's all like digital. As far as I do it by hand digitally, like on a pad, so I'm like drawing it out. But I kind of merge the digital with colored pencil is my main thing. Like this one's just like a simpler thing, just like where the ruler ships are. But I wanted to kind of group it around the main angles because I'm kind of into that idea of like I call it like the primary cross of the first, seventh, fourth, and tenth, and kind of showing like the angles there. So
Well, it's so interesting. I've never seen somebody merge like technical astrology with such colorful. I mean, like Chris makes really good flash. Like I think that's one of the things he's known for is his flash. I mean, I think making astrological imagery look good is probably its whole like not to make it like about business, but like it's a whole industry unto itself. Like, people could use your art for PowerPoints and things like that.
yeah, well, I think it is really helpful to have a visual aid because for me, it is like it makes it easier to try to understand the concepts because some of it is like kind of complex and it's hard to wrap your head around unless you have like a reference like to look to. Like one that confused me a lot was like primary versus secondary motion. And so this one I tried to show where like the signs are going, around this way much faster, but the planets are moving slower in the opposite direction. And trying to like convey that because that was something I was having a hard time grasping.
Oh my God, do you know what that is, JC? So like
Uh, Go ahead.
in the Greek cosmology, they're saying there's two motions in the heavens. One is the sun. Like if you put the sun in a sign, it rises up and it sets like this. Like that's one motion. And
Mhm.
then the sun moves through the signs like 1 degree a day in the opposite direction. So there's like these two opposite motions
Oh,
in the
yeah,
heavens.
yeah.
And so that's
Yeah,
kind of
like
what he's showing there.
I mean, like the ascendant goes the other way throughout the day than the sun is moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
signs, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently this is like part of the reason why the houses even have the meanings that they do as far as like which sign is like falling away from an angle or moving towards an angle. Um, so
I
I
love
guess
the black and white stripe aesthetic of that. That is just so circusy and awesome, by the way.
thanks. Yeah, a lot of it seems like my color palette is like rainbow or black and white seems to be the main thing. So I'm going with
Oh my
that.
God, you should make a calendar. Like
Good idea. I've never thought about that. That's interesting.
well, because like people could have one, like it's like an astrological lesson, one per month or something like that. Because each one is like a lesson. That's so cool.
That's a cool idea.
Do you plan to teach astrology someday?
I hadn't really planned no, that hadn't really been. I'm kind of, haven't thought too far ahead as far as like what my goals are because things are just kind of like popping up as far as what my main focus should be. But that does seem like an interesting thing to do. Yeah.
I feel like each of your pieces is like a teaching tool. I mean, it's very arty, it's very right brain in the colors, but like each one has a lesson in it. And that's I've never seen an astrological artist do such a thing, actually.
Right, right. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it would be helpful if someone was teaching. I think that, yeah, to have a good visual and yeah, yeah. This one here, this is one that kind of like pinpointed Mercury as being special. It's called Aspects of Exalted Rulers. I get really into the titles too. So it's like this is the planets in their exaltations, but the color scheme is matching it to like one of the signs that it rules. So like Saturn ruling Aquarius, the sun obviously ruling Leo. And like Mercury's the only one that's exalted in and is ruling the same sign. So it's kind of like a standout in that way. And then this is the first time I like conveyed the numerical order with dots. And I feel like that is interesting because it also kind of pinpoints Mercury as being like the center, like and well, and Virgo specifically, the sixth sign. So I thought that was kind of different.
Daisy, you see how each one's a lesson? Like this one's a lesson in exaltations. Like this is like the
Yeah.
best basic astrology school ever.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
Yeah,
you.
that is
Thank you.
really cool.
And I like that circusy aesthetic to it. It's like really like the
Yeah.
white plus colors is so cool.
Yeah, the colors seem like really helpful to like convey information. Um, which I haven't noticed. I like did a lot of drawings using the rainbow and then it took me a while to realize like the first and the 10th if you start it with red they'll be like opposite colors being square to each other, which I
Mhm.
thought is interesting as far as squares being like more conflict based. So like
Hmm.
that kind of makes sense. This is also exaltations, but shown in a different way, where they're shown, well, in the houses that they joy in. And so then the signs that they're exalted in are shown above them, but it's like laid out more in terms of the houses.
Well,
Um,
so was this like your process of learning all of the lessons was to like make an art piece for every lesson you were learning?
I think so. Yeah, I think it helped me to like to integrate it a little bit more. And I did take a liberty with this and I put Pluto in the seventh because it makes it symmetrical and I felt like I would like it to be symmetrical.
Interesting.
Um
Now, do you do commissions? Like, would you draw someone's natal chart?
yeah, yeah, definitely. That was kind of one of my first like main things that I thought I wanted to do. I got really into annual perfections. And so like this is like Terrence McKenna's annual perfections. And I thought it'd be cool, like I could do anyone's like chart of annual perfections and like, design it however they would want. So
Wow.
Oh,
See,
because
nice.
that's
you don't know
easier
how,
for them to understand.
go ahead.
I'm a big Terrence McKenna fan as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How
He's a good
long, you
one.
don't know how long that takes you to do?
I'm really bad at like estimating like times or measurements or yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm thinking like,
maybe
how much would it like realistically cost for one of those?
I know that's the thing. That's a good question. I wish I had a good answer for you. I'm sure I have it on my website with some amount, and I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing. Um, Over 100, because it would take me like more. It would take me multiple days to work on it.
I just feel like that's like a
But
$1,000. I mean, Jay-Z, how much would you price that? I mean, I know when you're talking about art, you're not supposed to talk about money, but it's like I find that how can the audience get to Anisah to get their chart drawn if they don't have any idea of the price point? But like Jay-Z, what do you think that's worth?
Yeah, I also would have trouble saying a number because in the one hand it's like it's priceless.
Mhm.
thank
Right?
you.
And then on the other,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
on the
I
other
agree.
hand, it takes you a long time to do. I mean, I'm sure it's fun for you, but also it's like it's it's something that takes skill and effort and time and t attention.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that's true. But yeah, the information in it is like really priceless and it would be like a lifetime thing. So I'm sure I'm probably charging on the low end, but I'm okay with that, trying to just get it more out there.
Well,
So
there was this girl at Norwalk selling these really intricate chart drawings for $4,000. So I'm just saying, like, it could
oh,
be.
it's nowhere around that.
Yeah, well, you know what I see like a good use of these for being like designing tattoos for people because it's like so much of, astrology is like how can you commit to a tattoo and having it for the rest of your life? Well, if it's your chart, you can absolutely commit to it for the rest of your life, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what if someone then does a bad job at it, or if it comes out awful? I don't know. I don't know if I'd go like that.
Oh, well, I
Because
think that's not Anissa's problem. If she
no, but
I have no tattoos.
oh, if she was the tattoo artist, but it's like tattooing doing the tattoo takes a certain amount of skill too, that you have to know how much ink to go down and stuff like that, and then you can wind up with tattoos. Only because I'm not saying this because I did my own tattoos with
Um,
needle
well,
and
she wouldn't do the tattoo, she would
ink.
design it and like give it to the tattoo artist.
But that's what I'm saying is that then the tattoo artist, if they weren't an astrologer, what are they gonna like do Saturn backwards? And then you're gonna be stuck with or like, they wouldn't have the finesse to understand the astrological significance to her
They
drawings.
would follow the template. That's what they do. They make a stencil. I don't know. I think it could be done.
See, speaking of that, I think I do the moon backwards, but I'm having a really hard time making myself do it any other way. But I saw in some books, I think it's supposed to face the other direction, which maybe on camera that's going to be flipped anyway, but
Well, it really depends on if it's a waxing or a waning moon. And they say
that's the
right on the
thing.
right, it's getting light. It should be that way if it's waxing and that way if it's waning.
Okay. I think I'm drawing waning moons by accident, and I think
Yeah. Ubiquitous waning moons.
No, I remember when Andy first drew a chart drawing for me, and then she put my moon in actually like the how fat it was, the right shape and everything. And
that's
I
cool.
didn't realize that she was doing that at the time, but that's what she does in hers, is like to make them the actual shape that they were at the person's birth.
And I learned
That's
that
great.
from
Yeah.
Vedic Valence because I think it's in Vedic Valence he talks. Well, I learned to look up at the sky a lot, and Valence talks a lot about like if the moon's at 90 degrees, it's cut in half, and if it's at 120 degrees, it's convex on both sides, and so it's like I mean, yeah, I guess that's an artistic choice, right? Do you draw it realism to what it looks like in the sky, or do you draw it symbolically to what it would look like in a schematic diagram? And I think those are just like those are choices. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting.
of course, Anissa's style will evolve over time.
Yeah, it has been. It has been.
Have you always been an artist?
Like, yeah, a little bit. Like, you know, since being a kid, I've liked doing art. For a while, I thought I was going to try to like make myself do art as a career, like back in 2012, and then it was just like so stressful, like trying to think of what to do to sell specifically and make money. It just didn't work at all. And then it wasn't until like 2020 that I was like, I'm just gonna paint and not care if it's good or not, and just do it for fun. And then that kind of slowly led me into like enjoying it and like getting better at it. And then a friend suggested that I switch from painting because I was complaining about paint about painting because I don't really feel the need to like mix colors a lot and get a lot of different shades. I tend to just work with like a more bright, intense form of a color, and I want like precise lines. And so then I was like, okay, I'll just do colored pencil. Yeah.
These would also make really good stickers, like for students, like every time they learn the lesson, like they learn exaltations, they can get the exaltation sticker.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Little badge.
Yeah.
It's not a bad
Do you
idea.
have, JZ, do you have one of your value questions or whatever those are called?
All right. Well, I guess I was going one thing I was gonna ask you, Anisha, is how are you feeling right now? Like if you had to say one planet or house or whatever that represented how you're feeling right now, what would it be?
How I'm feeling right now, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'm gonna try to, well, I'll try to lean into the Jupiter. I have Jupiter in Cancer, so that's been kind of like on my mind a lot with the recent ingress. And so I'd like to try to get into more of the benefits of that placement. I have Chiron there too. So I think there's kind of been a mixed bag. And it's opposing everything else in my chart. So um, yeah, that one.
What?
It's fifth house in Placidus, sixth house whole sign. So
What degree is your Jupiter?
yeah, four, fourth
Oh my
degree, which
God.
I guess is technically the fifth degree. Um,
Interesting. My
yeah,
Jupiter's at six Cancer, so we are
oh, okay. Really
Jupiter.
close.
That's
That's
fun.
Yeah,
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
mine's
Huh.
25
Oh, okay. Wow.
Cancer.
Oh my God, three Jupiter and Cancer. So you're feeling very Jupiter and Cancer. Does that make you feel like eating a lot? No, I don't.
Usually, yeah. I mean, that's always the case. Yeah, I had some dreams the other night of like this like massive like dam breaking and like flooding and the water's rising and I'm trying to like put all my cats in my totes to like float and like it was I feel like that was some Jupiter and Cancer square Saturn issues, but
Interesting. Um, Nice. That was a good question because it's like we don't really know you at all. So we're
yeah.
but I asking a feelings question is smart. It's like, what are you feeling? Well, what are you feeling about like with Jupiter going through your sixth house? What are you feeling about your work life?
Um, I'm happy. I'm happy with it as it is. I feel like there's a lot to do. I mean, as far as like I have like a job and then I have like what I'm trying to build is like a career with which is more the art and the astrology, but it's not something I can do full time yet. Um, but I feel like that's something that requires a lot of faith, like the Jupiter thing. Like you have to kind of trust that if you just keep going and working at it, and I like genuinely enjoy it, so there's no loss there, that eventually it can grow into like what I imagine. So
Mhm.
yeah.
What is your day
And
job?
my day job is also pretty Jupiter and Cancer, also pretty 12th house. I work at like a senior living facility and I'm kind of like the activities assistant. So I like call bingo and do card games and I drive the bus. So
That's so Capricorn on the 12th. It's like geriatric institutions. I mean, and then with the Jupiter and Cancer is like it's all caregiving and like
hmm
fun.
Yeah, fun
yeah.
at home at their home, like and fun home activities or
Well, yeah, it's interesting because I never thought I would get into that at all. Never wanted to really but just a few years ago I did. But I knew my mom is a Capricorn and my aunt's a Capricorn and they both did senior like home health care. So I had this like feeling like the Capricorn thing, maybe I could do it. So I think, yeah, kind of worked out.
You
Yeah.
know, just as an old person talking to a younger person, I just want to say that and this video is not about anything I have to say. It's really about you, but I'm here in the room, so I'm just going to talk. So the thing
Please,
is,
please
people
do.
always think like if you become a full-time astrologer, you will have made it as an astrologer. And it's like I've done the full-time astrology thing, and it actually is very, very I don't know. I just don't super love to do astrology full time. Like it's like it's totally fine to work 20 hours a week at a nursing home and then be an astrologer 20 to 30 hours a week and like that is your astrology life.
Hmm.
It's like I don't think there has to be one day. I mean,
Hmm.
not saying you can't make it and work astrology 50 hours a week or whatever. Like I'm sure you can make it if you want to manifest that. But I also think it's nice to like have your like
Hmm.
little day job, like chop wood, carry water, and then like do the art and astrology on the side. It's just a nice balance, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I have thought it's good to have something where you have to like get out of the house enough. But it's nice because it's not so overwhelming to where I'm able to have like 3 days off and just kind of like work on what I want to work on too. So it's a good balance right now. I am happy with it.
And like the other
Yeah.
thing about it is like astrology, like you got to be kind of alpha, especially if you're doing readings where you like have to be in charge and like show up and know everything. And like it just gets tiring where you're like, can someone just tell me what to do? Like I just, it just, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, so it's a thing, but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have more art that you want
Yeah.
to show us?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. There's one I did recently because it's kind of like a different version of, so there's like two versions that kind of are illustrating the same concept, which I guess is the triplicity rulers. Um, and this shows one of my newer. So this is one way I tried to show the rulers of the triplicities, with like each element, depending on whether it's day or night, has like three planets that rule it, and they go in a certain sequence. So the top half of the chart would be the day order, and the bottom half would be the night, just to kind of like reflect how it is in birth charts. And I guess you would like start there, and it's kind of like moving in this direction. But I thought maybe it's kind of hard to like figure out which direction it is moving in. So then I made this one as an alternative version, which is the same information. But this time it's like you know that it's the daytime because the bigger part is white, and this is the nighttime is more reinforced with that. The element is just that first one. Um, but the order is like this would be like Venus would rule the first part of your life, I guess is the idea if you are an earth sign born during the day, and then the moon, and then Mars is the cooperating or the third ruler. So it's the same information, but I thought maybe displayed in a slightly better way. And then even the middle there kind of reinforces, okay, the day is on the top, night is on the bottom. So yeah.
A few thoughts. Sorry, Jesse, you're gonna have to jump in because if you want to talk, you're gonna have to interrupt me. Basically, okay, so my next thought is your target market is definitely Hellenistic astrologers. Like when I'm looking at all your work, it's like it's all the lessons of Hellen, like triplicity rulers are so like that word, even triplicity is so annoying because it really means elemental triangles. But I think Robert Schmidt like coined it as triplicity. It's like I don't know if he
Yeah.
actually coined that term, but it would be cool if these were t-shirts. Like you had this and it's like triplicities and like and then like I totally see the Hellenistic because so much of what the artist statement that goes with the art is like really explaining it. Like the triplicity,
Hmm.
this is an image of triplicity rulers, blah 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 blah. But like
Hmm.
if you had a T-shirt with it, with it's like triplicity, this, no, I don't know. But and then you had that
Yeah.
image on there, like the Hellenistic astrologer would eat that up. You know,
I think so too. Yeah, no, I definitely think so too. Would like to get it in front of it's just a little obscure for like the general public and then even general astrologers. So it's like it,
it's totally
but I
cool to
think
have your
once
target
people
market be like a subset of astrologers, and you just have to figure out where they mingle. Like they mingle on the Skyscript forum, they mingle, on Chris Brennan's The Astrology Podcast. It's like if you can get to where they
Mhm.
are, then you definitely have a really good product for that market, just thinking in a business minded sense. But also, it's like business actually helps people connect. It's like those Hellenistic astrologers would want those t-shirts. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas like don't you think
Yeah, 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 definitely. T-shirts are a thing. Like this is based on art that I've done. This is a t-shirt I made based on some like art that I did. Don't look at my dirty floor. But yeah, but I haven't done a lot of the astrology art on t-shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I should do that. No,
I'm
and
sure
this one
there's
I
something you
called
can do custom.
Trigon.
Sorry. You can do like
Sorry.
custom orders, like where they print on demand or something. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, your own personal birth chart on a t-shirt. This one I called Trigon Lords of the Sect Light to make it extra strange sounding, but like triplicity, trigon. There's like a lot of words, right, for the
I like how
same
you have the
idea, I guess.
triangles in that one, like in the center.
Yeah, yeah, the actual element shapes, yeah. And these I was making shiny. I was going through a phase of like making everything kind of shiny, so it's the artistic progression.
So
Um, yeah.
maybe you can tell us a little bit about like when you what's your process and like what's important? Like say you were gonna make a new piece, right?
Mhm.
Do you have to like clear out your desk? Do you like where do you do your stuff and how do you get in the right vibe and mindset and like what's important to you? How do you let your stuff flow?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel kind of like at the mercy of like fate or whatever to kind of like guide me in the right directions. Like I haven't really consciously too much like sought out what I'm supposed to be like drawing, but just continuing to like learn more and read and like expose myself to new topics and like something will like click. It's like, oh, I should draw that. I could draw that.
And then do you do it right
A lot of
away
the
or
stuff I
have
just
an idea book or like what do you do?
yeah, I'll like do like a rough little sketch and then I've got like some big rolls of paper because a lot of it I have to draw it kind of big in order to get all the detail in, and then I'll scan it in and make it smaller. Uh, which reminds me, I started drawing zodiacal releasing periods, and that one I had to have a massive. That's what started me on getting massive pieces of paper and doing it on the floor, because I was trying to like put 108 years in a wheel, and it was really hard to evenly divide a wheel into 108 pieces. You need like a big paper to do that. So that was kind of a technical challenge. Um, but I got in touch. I ended up getting in touch with my dad, and he does a lot of like computer stuff, and so he made me like a wheel with 108 divisions, and so that kind of started me. Then I could do them, draw them on my pad. So.
What's this 108 thing?
To me, it's just like an idealized lifespan. I feel like, because you have to kind of, I wanted to show an entire life of zodiacal releasing periods, kind of like as one. And then so you have to kind of choose, well, how long should that be? And I wanted to be generous, but realistic. As I've shown it to people, I've heard like, don't you know we get 120 years? But it's like, well, you can always draw another one later. Um,
Oh,
so
like
yeah,
the Mayan calendar that we're like, the world's gonna end because the Mayan calendar is gonna end. And then it's like, or maybe it will just keep going on.
right, right. It's arbitrary. People could surpass 108, but it seems like a good chunk and it's like a sacred number, so I thought that was good to
Yeah,
go.
well, sacred. I do Kundalini yoga in which like they're always doing things 108 times or whatever.
Okay.
So I was wondering like, what's your view on why is 108 sacred? Like, what's the deal?
Off the top of my head, I just know I've heard a lot of things about it. It has to do with like the moon. It's like the number of beads on the prayer string. There's like a lot of like synchronicities with it, supposedly. So I'll go with that. And it adds to nine. And I'm pretty into numerology too, where like nine is like the greatest number and number of God. So I like that. Yeah.
Interesting. God, I mean, the Hellenists would just eat up some Zodiacal releasing swag, man.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like my latest, my newest like thing that I've really been working on is I've managed to make it completely digital because that's something that was extremely difficult to draw by hand. But now I found somebody who can actually do computer programming because I'm really bad at computers. And now you can just like generate a chart like this. And so it is like 108 years, like an entire life of the Zodiacal releasing. The inside shows fortune and the outside is from spirit. And just recently we added a thing where now you can choose like any two lots or between like some of the major ones like Eros or Courage or Nemesis. And so you can kind of compare the periods from any two lots on this website, zr.astrologyillustrated.com, and you can generate it for free. If they didn't want to like, I would feel weird like completely like gatekeeping the information or something because I do think it's like a sacred thing and I don't want to like go afoul of any spirits by like, trying to just like make money off of it. But it has like a little watermark on it, but you can get like $10 for an unwatermarked version, or you could order a canvas or get a reading to like understand it better. But I do put like a map key. And the idea is I hope it's pretty like more intuitively clear, so you wouldn't need too much explanation. Like peaks are peaks, the blue eyeballs are loosing of the bond. So yeah, hopefully this could help, bring people to learn more about it.
If that was a roulette wheel and we spun it and threw a ball in, what slot do you think it would land on right now?
I hope a good one. I hope a good one. I think this is Terrence McKenna's too. Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
definitely land in the eyeball slot.
It would land on
Well,
the eyeball.
Well, I guess yeah, 2025 he would be in a culminating period this year. So,
All right then.
Yeah.
and a peak. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah.
Do you know Zodiacal Releasing? Do you know the technique?
I've never heard of this before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
I get
faster.
asked about it all the time because the people are always like, "Where is it in the where is it in the Greek?" And I was like, "I never read it in the Greek, so like I've never done Zodiacal Releasing. It's like this big drama because like
Well, yeah, I'm interested in that. So I just got your thing in the mail yesterday, your book, which I think is the part that supposedly like has something about it, but like it's true. It's not like written out that explicitly. The words don't show up like zodiacal releasing, but it seems complicated
Well, how do you know
and I want to
somebody's
like
not
dig
just
into it
making
more.
that business up?
Well, it seems to work. So that would almost be weirder if it was like completely made up because there are so many like correlations that are kind of inexplicable. So
I feel like
assuming it's
there
based
could be
on,
this wave of these Neptune and Capricorn kids, I should call them. I think they should compare the three translations now that there's three translations available. That why not take a look at Zodiacal Releasing just in a little bit closer and say like where was it in the Greek? You know what? And Schmidt kind of coined the term Zodiacal Releasing because there was these releasings from zodiac signs. It's not like it's in Valens. Like Chris said to me, he's like, if you want to know where it is, Andy, just ask me and I'll show you. And I was like, I can read the Greek, Chris. I would not ask you because you can't read the Greek. No offense, Chris Brennan. But the point is like basically it's like when I was reading it in Greek, there was never a part where Valen said, there's a technique I call zodiacal releasing. Blah blah blah. Here it is. He kind of has a chapter where he's kind of doing the technique, but it's just like this one little section, and it's I don't know, but all these length of life calculations are really waffling. Like the lot of spirit and the lot of fortune depend on if you're a day birth or night birth, and if you're male or female. Or I mean, I don't even know. It's been so many years since I read Valence, but the point is
yeah.
there's too many waffling calculations for me to ever take the length of life seriously. But there's a whole wave of young astrologers who are taking the calculation seriously, and I think they should. I think that's a great thing. And now we have an illustrator for all these things. Now, Chris, does Chris know you exist?
Yes and no. I've emailed I like because I got super excited when I like drew the first one. I was like really into it and I thought like this is gonna be they're gonna love it. So I did like finally email him about it and like within 5 minutes of me sending the email, a kombucha spilled on my computer and my computer went black and just completely died. And I was like, oh, that's ominous. I don't know if I should have done that. Um, and
Whoa, instant karma.
yeah.
Instant
Uh,
kombucha.
I swear I didn't even bump it. It was weird. And my computer got fixed. I never got any response. And then like later, so then like a lot later, because I've been kind of like this is like my baby, and I don't want someone to like steal it from me or like I just felt weird about it until I could like present it properly. And so then I was like taking took his class and like asked him some stuff about the class. And I told him that I'd done it, and he said he'd be interested to see it. So I sent him some, but I just haven't like heard back. I was able to show it to Lisa at Norwalk this year, which I was really excited about. And she said it looked interesting too. So now I've emailed them. It's only like within the last 2 months that I now have the website where people can actually like just put in their info and generate one instantly. So I think that makes it maybe more useful for other people. Like they could share it with students because it seems like a good tool for their students or just to like to share in general. I know they do zodiacalreleasing.net as like the main lookup website, which is what I used to make my charts originally. But it's just like a list of dates. And so I think it's easier to kind of like comprehend it more with the visual or that adds something for some people who are more visual. So and she was like, yeah, it's interesting. This is the only time that she's seen two different periods like laid out together because usually it's one or the other. And my idea was like if there's peaks happening in both at the same time, that could be a good thing to know. So yeah, so I'm optimistic that like they're gonna that they're like going over it and we'll be interested at some point. So
And if you can't get to Chris, I mean, one of the
yeah.
things about Jay-Z, we might be kind of like, no, we're not as big as Chris Brennan, but you can actually get to us, and that's what we're fun. That's why we're fun. And the thing is I
Yeah.
think are you this will go out. Usually, our videos get seen by between 20 and like 200 people, so it's like it's actually it's a little good chunk, but I think hopefully we can get you looked at enough that you can get a table at Norwalk, for instance, or you can get a table at UAC or something,
I would
because then
love that.
people can
Yeah.
start seeing that, you know.
Yeah, I really feel like that is like the audience that would really appreciate it. Like I go to some of those like metaphysical wellness conferences and people do seem somewhat interested, but I think a lot of people there are more like looking for psychics and aren't that necessarily like into like the nitty-gritty of astrology. But like I think astrology people would be pretty interested.
Totally, the MeWe fairs, they're usually beginning. They just want an astrology reading usually, and you're actually your target market is literally advanced astrologers. I mean, when I'm just looking at your products, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And I know you're an artist, and I'm a business person, so it's like I'm always thinking about the business side of things. But it's like, yeah, definitely your crowd is the Hellenists, and so it's like we got to get you to the Hellenists, and that's we got to weave that web of like getting you over to the people who do that. Jesse, do you have a third question? Sorry.
To Hellenists and beyond. To Hellenists and back.
I love you. No, go to Hellenists. No, just kidding.
Good shirt. Good shirt.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I love that. I agree. I agree.
Um, no, I have asked my questions.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I understand you a little bit more now, Anisah, and I hope other people do as well. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Wait, what degree is your Venus?
5, the fifth degree.
So Pluto's going over your Venus right now, and you're like making all this art.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I hope it'll be okay.
well,
I've heard bad things.
dude, you need remediation, man.
Yeah, I do need remediation though. That's a
Never
fact.
let a transit scare you ever.
Hmm.
That was
Hmm.
my response to reading all those scary Hellenistic books is, yeah, whatever. There's always a remedy. Oh. No, I
Yeah.
think making a bunch of art is like absolutely a Pluto Venus obsession period. I mean, like one of the things I like about Pluto transits is you can get obsessed with something for years and years, and by that you end up with a big body of work, you know? So I think well, let's ask you, how is your Venus aspected natally?
By sign, it is squaring Pluto. It's within 1 degree of my ascendant. Sextiling Mars and the moon. So it's not the worst. It's one of the more redeeming aspects of my chart, I think.
So wait, your moon and Mars are at what degrees?
Mars is 11 Sagittarius, moon is 3 Aries. So that's also getting like a Pluto thing.
That's a
and
beautiful
Saturn.
chord, that Moon, Venus, Mars the chord. That's beautiful. And then Pluto's going to hit that for several years. Oh my God, I'm looking for lots of art coming out of you because that's a beautiful chord. I mean, and maybe when the Pluto sextiles that Mars and Sag, you can go traveling around with your art. You know, the first thing to do with that Moon, Venus is to make the art, and then you start like traveling around and going to a bunch of conferences or something. And
I
also
like that.
astrological societies. What about going to speak at places, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm interested. I had thought like there's like a Theosophical Society kind of bookstore where I got his book in Seattle, and I was like, yeah, maybe that would be a place. I know they do have like speakers there sometimes. So yeah, I'm kind of just now getting my stuff together. I spoke at a MeWe. I've got like a little mini slideshow about the Zodiacal releasing now, so it could be a cool thing. Yeah.
I think your art is so aesthetically beautiful. Like I think
Thank
for being
you.
as technical as it is, it's really poppy and it looks really would you ever do like a not a logo, but like I was thinking because here at the Moira Press we're all black and white stripes. That's one of our signature definers is black and white
Oh,
stripes. And I could totally see like a cool
interesting.
circusy Moira Press drawing, like where it's not a chart, but it's like you draw like the Moira Press circusy looking something, something.
Okay, yeah. No, that's a cool idea.
We
That's
could
funny.
commission you for all kinds of things. Sorry.
Yeah, or like you could create sigils for people too, sigils that
Okay.
that have some like really information packed things, but they just look like kind of like a logo, but it's really got a lot of information in there.
That's a cool idea. No, that makes me think of where is that thing? I did a okay, this is because I felt like I did need a remediation for Mars and Cancer. And the person who coded the website for me is more into like magic and like ceremonial magic. And so this is like the banishing and invoking of the planets, which I'm like, rather skeptical as a Capricorn, but I'm like, well, maybe. And so I tried to banish Mars. I don't know if it worked. But this does encode like information where you follow like the order of the rainbow. Like you would start for this is so the white side is invoking, the black side is banishing. You would like start at Saturn there, then you would move, or no, you would start at Mercury, move to Saturn because that's red, then Saturn to Venus because that's orange, and then Venus to Mercury because that's yellow. So you just kind of go in rainbow order and follow like the way the colors are in the rainbow to um to do it because I guess you're supposed to like go in a certain order. And so I thought
Oh
that's
yeah, and yeah, I see what it is. Ritual magic of invoking.
mhm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I see what it is. Yeah.
cool.
That's
I
Candy,
hope Kim
candy sweet.
Strickland watches this. You remember Kim?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He
would
would
love
love it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I think obviously we're discovering all different ways that your art could be used in magical fashions and that people could access you and utilize your art services. I mean, I think that the art you've showed us is like is an example of how your brain and spirit work. And now that we know your Pluto transit is going to be there for several years, like we know that you're in an
Mhm.
arty phase, so it's like I hope for everyone who's watching, just know that Anisah, this is her passion. And so if you want astrological art, like she is the one person to definitely go to. Now, do you have any art that's non-astrological that we can see?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I that's funny though. I mainly pulled out like the astrology based art. So that's unfortunate. But well, this is well,
I mean,
yeah.
it's fine if you don't, but it would just be cool to see like the breadth of
Well,
your
my shirt would be like one that I did this a while ago, and I've never been able to do anything else quite like it. But
is so cool.
a lot of it is more like geometric, but still very like rainbow black and white as the color scheme. A lot of eyes,
Interesting.
mandalas. Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
is so cool. All right, well, we have 8 minutes. Anything that you want to tell us or that you were hoping to talk about?
No, just yeah, I'm excited to like yeah, reach more people. I have a lot of fun. I think I'm like kind of shadow banned on Instagram, so I do post there regularly. the same day of the week to try to honor the Lord of my year according to annual perfections, because that's a favorite technique. And then I do like a TikTok channel where I make little videos, short form, about like whatever is kind of going on. So I touched on, I try not to touch on current events too much, but here and there or some like fun celebrity stuff. And trying to get people more aware of the Zodiacal releasing through that, but it's hard to explain in like 3 minutes or less. Um, so that's kind of a challenge. But that's fun. And yeah, just really excited about the website because now it's not something that you would have to pay hundreds of dollars because it's not going to take me like a week to like tediously draw it out. You can just instantly generate it and you can kind of play around, do as many as you want, and hopefully, yeah, use it to understand it better, maybe just like map your history and kind of like see if it does correlate to like times that you know are especially significant in your past. So yeah, I hope people can like get have fun with it. Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, can we put the info for the website in like the description of this video or something? Is that
Yeah, I'll put anything you want. If you email it to me, I'll put anything you want in
oh,
the description of the video.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you if they want a painting from you?
You could email me, astrologyillustrated at Gmail. And yeah, would be totally happy to do any kind of like custom orders. I made like a really big, a really massive annual perfections chart for this YouTuber, Amelia Fart. I don't know, some people might have heard of her. I don't think she makes that many videos anymore, but a big part of her like look was like she'd wear really like frilly outfits, have like red lipstick and like eating pizza was like a thing. So I tried to like customize it to like her thing. So yeah, I would like to customize it to like whatever kind of people would want incorporated. Be
Interesting.
fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think your art is fabulous, and I think now
Thank
knowing
you.
forward in your chart that's all arty, it's just like definitely cool that you're going to keep going for a few years with Pluto on that. And so, yeah, I'll have to think when I get some extra cash, I'll have to hire you to do a Moira Press t-shirt or something with like a rainbow black
Oh
and
yeah.
or something.
Would love to. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, anything else? We got 5 minutes. I mean, not that we have to use up every moment, but
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of been no my main thing. I'm not sure what else I have. I don't have anything else like scheduled as far as like where I'll be until like the fall. I'll do some more fairs and stuff. But yeah, I would love to.
Do you ever come out to the East Coast or do you stay on the West Coast? Well, you're
I
out in
haven't.
Portland.
Oh, what's that?
Are you out in Portland?
No, I'm like more Tacoma area right now. But I went to college on the East Coast and I've like lived out there before, but I haven't been back for quite a while. But I
Oh,
like it out there. Yeah.
nice. Well, if you ever want to come hang out with us, let us know. We I don't know, we're always around. We're always around on Facebook, so you're not a Facebooker, but where else
Yeah.
where else could we hang out with Anisah? I guess on Tuesdays.
I really wanted to do the Tuesday thing. It's just that I end up like working until 5:30 and then it's like kind of an hour to get back. And so
Oh.
it's just unfortunate timing. But yeah.
Well, we definitely will keep you in mind and then we'll have this video on the channel forever. I mean, unless we get banned or something. But
You never know. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure we have a backup plan or something for that. But
Hmm.
anyway, but thank you so much for meeting us. It was cool to get to know you. And now if I see you at a MeWe fair, I feel like I will know you a little bit. And
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm super glad that we met. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I'm really, really impressed with your work. So
Thank you. So nice.
thank you, Daisy. Thank you for
all right. Yeah, good to talk to you. It was,
Nice
yeah,
talking to both of you. Thanks for letting me come on here and share everything. It's been super fun. Yeah.
absolutely. You're totally
right
worth
on.
seeing. All right, we'll see everyone later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.